What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from the quarantine zone again, and this time we return with Dusty of Between the Buried and Me. Great to be able to talk with you again today, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, it's a great time to be talking with you. I honestly think that you releasing Colors 2 has I've never seen this much excitement for a part 2 to an album since like Use Your Illusion 2 or something like that. Like people were going insane. I saw that people like broke your site like trying to pre-order it or something like that.
Yeah, the site crashed, the merch site crashed, Sumerian site crashed. Um, it was, man, it just felt amazing, like I know how hard this pandemic was on everyone, even outside of music business people, just everyone. It's been so tough. And we had to kind of change our whole lives and our whole plan around. And we wrote and recorded that record, and it ended up coming out. Just we just are so happy with it. And it was super hard to keep it a secret that it was Colors too, um, and we were all just we were dying, anticipating just announcing that. And man, I was counting down the days. And once we finally did, the response for everything, even fix the error and everything, it's just been, man, it's felt so good to see people excited, man.
Yeah.
We're excited, our fans are really excited, and I feel like we've got the most passionate fans in the world, man. And they're
Yeah.
just so stoked.
Well, like as people who love like I don't like this. I feel like Colors was like the album that was a real gateway. It almost kind of had like a hybrid theory effect to it, where like it was people's gateway into like very heavy like death metal. It was
Mhm.
people's gateway into like progressive music. It was really just a gateway into a lot of things. And the one question I really wanted to ask you is, as an artist, you always want to look forward. You know what I mean? Because I thought, you really upped your game with the Great Misdirect and the Parallax and Coma Ecliptic, etc. But like, was making the sequel to Colors, was it a lot like looking backwards in a way, or was there also a lot of looking forward as well?
uh I would say it was all looking forward. Our whole thing is we don't ever, we say this every record in interviews, we never are going to repeat ourselves. But um we respect and love Colors just like the fan base does, and we know how important it is to them. Just from the response of the anniversary tour to the response of the Twitch stream we did, it was just incredible. So we knew it's like hallowed ground, you know what I mean? Like we had to do it right. And I think we did it as much justice as we could possibly do, man. We really, really, really took it seriously. We really, really worked hard. I think it may be our best record we've ever done. Um, and obviously we looked back at some like um, at the themes, and there's a lot of tip of the hat to the record, to Colors one. And but we weren't going back trying to write the same record.
Yeah, it's not like
It is a
reanimation.
it is a different record, but it is Colors too,
Does it have
if
any?
that makes sense.
Absolutely. Does it also have any continuing aspects to where we left off on Automata as well? Like, was there maybe like any continuation of that as well, or were you kind of like
No, it's
neglecting?
it's 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 just it's a totally new record, but the only tie is two colors.
Okay.
Because colors wasn't as much of like a full story as like the Parallax through Automata was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and I think it was nice for Tommy to have a break from essentially writing a novel again. You know?
Do you think that maybe in order for people to like, do you almost consider though this color series to almost be like a Lord of the Rings effect? Like if somebody discovered Between the Buried and Me later into your career, whether it is through Coma Ecliptic or the Parallax, do you recommend that maybe like a listener listens to the first Colors before coming to Colors too, or is there really no like rule applied to
Yeah,
that?
I mean, they can listen to Colors too and just be like, I like this record a lot. This is cool. But, you know, I feel like anyone that listens to Between the Buried and Me is the kind of person that will want to know Colors One. You know what I mean? It's like a TV series that you really love. You're going to go back and watch it from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
especially
like watching Fargo the movie and then watching Fargo the series.
definitely. I
You know
couldn't
what I mean?
I couldn't agree with you more because I feel like when it comes to your albums, like they all stand out on their own, but they're always like have like a great effect to the point where people want to explore more. Like people who may have
Mm-hmm.
discovered you at the Great Misdirect are definitely going back to listen to Alaska and even like the 2002 self-titled album in a way. And being that I know you weren't in the band for the self-titled album, right? You didn't come into the band until like
Alaska was this lineup's first record.
okay.
So me, Dan, and Blake's first album was Alaska.
Okay, so you don't see maybe next year doing like a celebration of like a 20-year anniversary of the debut of BT Bam or anything like that, right? Or
I don't think so because this Evening with tour, we're kind of covering everything, man. This is a gnarly set list.
yeah.
It's a lot of work, you know. We're it's a career spanning set list, so there's no real plan to go back to the first record. I don't think we were a different band. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
and I'd imagine with every album you put out too, it gets only harder to put a set list together when you play live, right?
oh my God, I was saying this in another interview that it's weird to me now to when I'm watching, a special on a band or I'm like listening to an interview or a podcast, and it's odd how in like commercially successful music, how few records they have, you know, like we're this underground band that's 21 years old and we have like double the amount of records of most super famous bands, you know what I mean? Um,
Mm.
but again, it's a totally different world, like nowadays with a commercial artist and even how it's been for a long time, you know, they'll release a single 6 months later, another single comes out.
Yeah.
6 to 8 months later, another single comes out, and they're dropping singles for it seems like 3.5 years or something.
Yeah.
Whereas like, and they're obviously making a ton of money and playing massive shows and they're on TV and doing performances like that and whatnot. So it's just a totally different world. Whereas like in underground music, especially in our world, anything like progressive, like we are musically ADD as hell. And I think our fans are as well. So like, 2.5 years comes up, 3 years, and like it's like we got to have something new, man.
I
You know,
and what I find, I think part of it is, I mean, I know artists are kind of skeptical on using this term, but I do consider BT Bam's music to be very experimental. Like, I mean, there's
yeah, I
like
would say so too.
you're the band that could sing someone to sleep and scare somebody to death in like the same song. That's how I always
Yeah,
describe.
death metal lullabies.
That's a good way of putting it. You might be onto something there. But like, so I also imagine that just like trying new things or like is never like an obstacle or an issue, right? Like you can only do the same verse, chorus, guitar solo, verse, chorus so many times. But it almost seems like for you guys, there's no strings attached into what you want to incorporate, right?
That's my favorite thing about being in this band is, we got so lucky to have 5 people on the same the same and with the same mindset and the same goals and we kind of write in a similar fashion and I live in Nashville, dude, and when I moved here I was doing some session work and I got a lot of friends that are country artists and in commercial music in some way or another, and um not to take away from anything that they do, because anyone that can have a life in music, I'm just like, bravo, man. It's amazing. Very happy for you. But I feel like I speak for the band when I say that we would all just be bored to tears, man. Um, Playing normal stuff. because I've sat in on a bunch of like writing sessions here, and there's only so many things you can do with the same three chords,
Absolutely.
and most of the lyrical content is the exact same because it has to be. You can't, nothing can be too deep, it can't be too complex, and it has to, you know, it has to, a sixth grader has to be able to relate to it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Whereas you get into like progressive bands and like even like shit like Radiohead and Nine Inch Nails, and it's super dense, like you know really left field music, and the lyrical content is just like really out there. You know what I mean?
You guys
And
are
that's kind of, it's a niche market, man.
you, you are
It's
definitely
not for everyone.
you're definitely what I consider to be the thinking man's metal band in a way. Like I can't tell you how many people I know who make art when listening to Between the Buried and Me, or like dive into literature while listening to your music. Because I don't consider Between the Buried and Me to ultimately just be a band. Obviously, there's members, you all play your instruments, you write albums and stuff. I do consider though, especially as somebody who's seen you live in every New York City show for the last half a decade now, it almost seems like BT Bam is an experience more than it is a band. I think there's ways that all five senses are enhanced and that you alter our realities in ways that we can't experience elsewhere.
Well, that makes me feel good. you know, it, it's it's a beautiful reaction to get from something we work so hard on, and you know, just being normal is just, it's just not something we're really interested in, and we're just at the end of the day, we want to be happy with what we're doing, because we're the ones that we have to play it for years, and we have to put our names on it, and we want to feel good when we go to bed at night, about what we're doing. And so I just got to say, I feel so much gratitude to have the fan base we have, because they feel like that. You know what I mean? It's the most gratifying return you can get from art,
Yeah.
from your job. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we just have the best fans in the world, man, and they expect the weird, they encourage the weird.
Yeah.
What are they going to do this time?
Yeah.
There's total musical freedom.
Yeah, and you have some really
You
cool
know,
fans too. I always make a new friend at a Between the Buried and Me show. You just have
yeah,
some
man,
great
we're all
people.
friends.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I talk to so many people. We all talk to so many of our fans. We know them personally, and they know us. And it's great, man. We just, man, we're just so gracious for it. It's a hell of a position to be in.
Yeah. And we're looking forward to when you guys come back to the road. I already have my Gramercy Theater ticket. That's also the first metal show back at Gramercy Theater, which has always been a favorite for people, for metalheads to just not to shred at the pit. It's going to be intimate. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a really extraordinary experience.
We haven't been there in years, man, but I really like that place.
Yeah. You're supposed to play there for the Colors anniversary in 2017, but it's sold out in like less than a minute, so they had to move it to Irving.
Yeah, that's where I felt like we should have been adding shows and whatnot. That tour was really great, man. It was really fun, and hell of a reaction every night. But yeah, I can't tell you how much we're looking forward to not only being able to play, but just being together, man. I'm 36 years old, and this is the longest I've been home since high school.
Yeah.
Um, same for my guys. Tommy and Paul have been touring since the late '90s. Um, you know, um, and we've never gone this long without seeing each other. We're like a family, man. We're like best friends, and we miss shit talking to each other and just getting coffee and just being together, man. So our bus driver, our tour manager, we're just like a unit. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to interacting with fans, looking down and seeing them just be happy. I feel like it's going to be an emotional experience.
Oh, it's 100% going to be an emotional
You
experience.
know, I'm wondering if I'll like cry and pee on myself at all.
Well, there's going to be plenty of people in the Gramercy Theater who do it, so no judgment on you if it happens. I wanted to ask an
I,
I wanted to ask another question, kind of going back to the experimental songwriting process, because does it ever start off with a preconceived idea that you want it to sound like, or do you just kind of wing it and like improvise in a way?
yeah, we just, we have five different people in the band that are writing material. So, it's, and I've said this before too, not including DVDs, live shows, cover record, all that. This is like our 11th record. So, um, and our ninth in this lineup. So it's become such a natural thing, and you got five guys writing, five guys with different musical backgrounds, five guys that listen to different music, five guys that write different shit. And this record was written completely 100% over the internet. So, we each would write parts, and we'd all, there was like a folder of stuff. Everybody sent their stuff, and we just kind of picked a starting point, and everything was just kind of flowing together, and we ended up with an entire record full of stuff.
And this was obviously sort of like a happy accident in a way, but do you think that maybe, because I know it's been hard to be isolated and not be around each other, but I've also said that isolation is a great source of creativity as well. Did this isolation maybe like influence, maybe help you explore new sides of BT Band that we never seen before, or even just you as an artist?
Yeah, I think so, man. And like, obviously when you play dark music, um melancholy and sadness, anxiety, angst, all that stuff is it's a huge factor in our creativity. And I think literally living through the apocalypse and having our 20 years of work swept right out from under us, our families getting sick, seeing all the pain and panic that's sold to everyone on TV, and you know just everything that sucks about the world, everything that sucks about society, big tech, all that kind of stuff. I think we were just kind of, it was just put under a magnifying glass, and I think it served as a huge uh, inspiration for our creativity, man. It was a very difficult time, man. You
Yeah.
know,
I've
lots of
always
our family got sick. We know some people that lost their lives. A lot of people that lost their jobs, their livelihood. Us being one. Um, you know, it, intense isolation. You know,
yeah, and
it was rough.
I like think that this isolation, it's so hard too, because your music is anything but static, like it's always moving. So like in a
Mm-hmm.
world that's standing still, like how do we are what we create, and we emulate the world that we're in, and there's no such thing as an artist who doesn't take inspiration from the world around them. That's just impossible. So like in a world that's been standing so still, I part of me was curious, like how you managed to create that. And when the first single of Colors 2 fixed the error, it's fair to say though that's not just a representation of Colors 2. That's just one taste of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, man, that that song is literally just like the corner of a piece of paper on that record. You know,
Wow.
it goes. It's such a speck in the universe that is Colors too. It's one thing just to say that. I'm not saying it to sell the album. It really, it's this, that record is like its own universe, man, and it covers so much ground. It's very long. Um, I look forward to you hearing it.
Yeah, I
You
look
know,
forward to the rest of the world hearing it too, because it's gonna be. again, like there are people now, like when the first Colors album came out, I wasn't even in high school yet. So like this has been an album that both myself and a lot of my peers in the metal scene grew up with. So to be able to sort of, and we were in middle school, so we couldn't go to shows every day. We had tests to study for, and our parents gave us curfews. So like
Hmm.
now it's great to sort of like be able to live an experience that we may have been too young to experience at that time. So I think this is good, and it's
Yeah.
going to spawn a whole new era. I think it's going to be maybe in another 10 or 12 years you do a Colors 3.
Yeah. Who knows, man? Assuming we all are still alive.
Right, in this
There's
unpredictable
no
world.
there's no telling what the way shit's going nowadays, huh?
Yeah.
But um, but yeah, that's a cool thing about our band is nothing is really out of reach for us. But for now we're very focused on this album and this touring cycle, and um, yeah, we can't wait for people to hear it, man. We're coming up. We're under a month
Yep.
from release, so I'm fired up about all of it. I love the artwork. I love the vibe of the artwork. It's very comfortable to me. Um, you know, I I would say that usually with records, there's something about it that I'm not 100% about. Maybe it's like the color scheme of the artwork. Maybe it's like one song that I'm kind of like about, or whatever. Maybe there's like a section of a song that I'm like, I don't fucking like that part.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like this album, like literally everything about it, I'm really proud of it. I love the artwork. I love the record. We all tried so hard. We put a lot of time into the tones, into the performance, the idea, the production, just every part of it. And we were all way more involved in everything than we ever have been. So
Yeah. And already this record managed to break the internet harder than Kim Kardashian was able to do it. So that's already an accomplishment. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. And for those of you listening, Dusty was my first interview ever 6 years ago. So it's great to be able to chat with you again. Is there just anything else with the touring cycle that you would like to promote, or any shout outs you'd like to give, or just anything else you would like to plug?
um, I just we just want to thank all of the fans, like all of you, for continuing to support the band and be interested all these years later. You're the reason we keep doing it. We couldn't do it without you. And that I really mean that. I'm not just saying it. Thank you to all of our gear companies that keep us jamming, and thank you to Sumerian for they're very stoked on the record, and they've been great. And yeah, man, we're looking forward to seeing all of you, and stay safe. Let's all be responsible, and that way we can have shows more. We can have more tours.
Definitely. But thank you, Dusty. Everybody, Dusty of Between the Barrett and Me, Colors 2 coming out very soon. Be sure to pick it up. You do not want to miss it. This is Alex from Heavy New York. We will see you next time.